the first things that we would do would be talking about God and how, we were, this first thing I said. I was like, I'm mad at God. And I didn't have anyone to tell that to who would respond well. Like, some people were like, well, why would you be mad at God? He's God of all creation, blah, blah, blah. But having Kareem, when I talked to him about it, he was like, oh, I understand, and shared his experience. And I was like, that's what you call a friend, a best friend. Like someone who can understand, sympathize, empathize, and the fact that it was easy for us to talk. Like people say, talk on the phone for hours, never hang up. Even throughout marriage, I see how it's important for me, us to be best friends. Because after the romance might fade out because of, stress from work, stress from raising kids, stress from whatever. At least for me, a solid foundation is being best friends.
Hey everyone, I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are K&G Culture. As you know, we believe that you create your culture, which simply means you don't have to have the same exact culture as, you had when you were growing up in your parents' house, but you create the atmosphere in your home. You create the morals, just how things go, the decisions you make. It is your culture in your household. It can be different. And that's what we talk about, the things that we learned, from our parents,
right,
and then how we want to do it differently.
So today I wanted to talk about positive things about marriage, because I realized that a lot of our videos, we're just trying to show the reality or why marriage is hard. But then I thought it was like, let's talk about why marriage is worth it. I know, so basically in our society, we think that family is the building block of society. And so we choose to get married, have kids, so on and so forth. Have relationships, I can say too, have kids, repopulate the earth, right? So I think marriage is worth it. And the first thing that I think of is having a built-in best friend. But some people don't go into marriage being great friends. But for me, that was very important. So I think that's probably why we dated for 3 years, to make sure our friendship was solid. Like the first things that we would do would be talking about God and how, we were. This first thing I said. I was like, I'm mad at God. And I didn't have anyone to tell that to who would respond well. Like some people were like, well, why would you be mad at God? He's God of all creation, blah, blah, blah. But having Kareem, when I talked to him about it, he was like, oh, I understand, and shared his experience. And I was like, that's what you call a friend, a best friend. Like someone who can understand, sympathize, empathize, and the fact that it was easy for us to talk. Like people say, talk on the phone for hours, never hang up. And even throughout marriage, I see how it's important for me, for us to be best friends. Because after the romance might fade out because of, stress from work, stress from raising kids, stress from whatever. At least for me, a solid foundation is being best friends. What about you?
Yeah, well, just to respond to you, like, honestly, I did not realize how important it was for Gabby that we be best friends. I always wanted us, of course, to get along, and I always wanted us to be close. But I guess in my mind, it was never the definition of best friend. I never looked at it that way, best friend. But you hear us talk about a lot, especially recently, year 7. I don't think it was until after year 7 that I realized how important it was to you for us to be best friends, and what that actually meant for Gabby. As she said in her story, for her it was more about being able to have conversations, like having someone to talk to, having someone to vent to.
Right.
So yeah, when I realized that, I realized our marriage took a great turn, and I'm still working on it. I'm not saying I'm 100% there yet, but I definitely see the benefits and the positive change in our marriage and in our relationship, from me trying to be that best friend, be there for her, knowing that she needs someone to talk to, and trying to be that built-in best friend. And I do think that is a good thing to base a marriage on. I really don't see that going bad if people really put their all into it.
Right.
Because you hear people say all the time, you know, marrying your best friend is like the best thing you can do. And then you got some people, I guess it depends on your background or what generation you are. Some people don't, when you hear them talk about that, they really don't like that. They think it's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, why would I marry my best friend? That will mess it up. But really and truly, no. Like, you already talk to them all the time anyway. You know you guys get along. Just keep it going. It's really, to me, taking the relationship to another level. So yeah, why is marriage worth it for me? Very good question, first of all. Like, you know, when you brought it up, you know, and you said, hey, let's do a podcast on this. Like, why is marriage worth it? I agree with you that, like I said, the best friend part, but I also think support system. Support system to me is one of the big things. Like, knowing somebody's there for you.
Right.
Like, you can be there for them, but at the same time, you know, they're there for you. Like, we talked about it before, there's going to be days where you don't feel 100%.
Right.
And it's not that you're not trying. You know, it's not that you don't want to give 100%.
Right.
But, man, it's tough. Life gets tough, like, when it comes to always giving 100%. So knowing that somebody's there, man, that is awesome. To me, that's a great feeling.
Let me tell you guys, listen. A lot of time, there are many cases or examples of patients who come to the hospital multiple times or have gone through like a huge life-changing event like a stroke, and they say, I don't have any family. And to me, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking to not have that support system, especially when your life is changing. Why is stroke life-changing? You were functional before, and now you've lost some function, be it in your arm, leg, or even paralyzed. And that transition is abrupt and crazy. And so when you don't have the support of someone being able to help you, support you at the home. I mean, sure, you can get home health and all that stuff, but you know, they're not family, they're not your partner. One thing, and then two, venting, like being able to grieve, having support while you grieve the fact that you lost some of your function. You know, not having that person to empathize with you, being a listening ear. When I say heartbreaking. So that support, you know, is necessary. It might be doing all fine, you know, but when it comes to in sickness and in health, you know, that's where it's tried, and it's just great to have somebody there.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up the sickness part, because I think now this is the second time since we've been together that I was actually in the hospital, and Gabby being there for me was another reason. Because one time, let me back up, I think the first time we were dating,
right?
So we weren't even married yet. So for her to be there while we were dating, let me know like the type of person she was, how sincere and what are you doing?
I don't know.
Showcasing
my beauty, my worth, and my value.
What got me all distracted now?
That's what I've done.
How you make me forget the word I'm trying to use. But anyway, but yes, she's a good person. But yeah, like having that dating, and then, you know, in marriage, like, what was it? It's actually a month ago today. A month ago, I was in the hospital again, Thank God it wasn't anything too serious. It could have been,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. So yeah, I think that kind of support, everybody needs that. Everybody wants that. Like knowing that, oh, just because you get sick or just because something is wrong with you, that somebody doesn't dispose you or just walk off on you or run off with somebody else. That to me is showing commitment.
Yeah.
Showing love, that type of love. And commitment is like a whole nother. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think dating in 2022 is totally different from when we dated. Commitment is a huge thing. Like, people don't realize like how much their background and their trauma can affect their future ability to say, I want to commit to one person or commit to this person. Because to me, that's one of the biggest things the biggest issues that we see in relationships today is like, yeah, people know how to hook up. People know how to be charming. People know how to show them best selves. People know how to have a good time. We can go out, if you drink, people know how to go out and drink. If you go to the movies, whatever, go clubbing, whatever you do to have a good time. We know how to do all those things. But then when it comes to committing, like this person and only this person, there's a lot of, baggage and like emotions that we haven't dealt with that I realize happen. And to me, that's one of the benefits of marriage, because when this person says, yes, I want to be married to you, you only, before family, God, and before each other, and just taking an oath with each other, then first of all, it shows maturity. Because that to me is another aspect of it, because some of us are not emotionally mature to say, oh, I want to commit and marry to somebody, because we're just not there yet. But when you find that person that does want to commit and on that level, that is an awesome thing. They're mature. At least they're in the same mindset of you as far as wanting to do something at that emotional and relationship level.
Right.
So
yeah. And we are making assumptions that, one, you are choosing the right partner, because not all marriages succeed, unfortunately, for multiple reasons. But yeah, the assumption is that you're choosing the right partner, found someone just as committed, because again, you can see patients with their spouse or have a spouse but don't feel that support in their marriage, like don't have that emotional or mental support. So we are making assumptions that you have found the right partner for you, that you are both committed, and with that commitment, I've seen with why marriage is worth it is because the love grows to be unconditional. Because I don't think any love starts out as unconditional. Because if we took a look at all the conditions and all happened to you between you guys, you might question it. So it's good to see how that love can be unconditional. How the annoyances don't have to be deal breakers and have to cause the marriage to break down. You just love each other around it or with it, with the flaws and the mistakes. And then, you just to me, when I think of having someone love you in spite of you, despite you, or with everything that comes with you, that's a nice feeling. Yeah. That's a great feeling that you want it. And that in turn leads to you wanting to do more, wanting to commit more. And then that other person feels like, oh, you want to commit? All right, let's keep going. Make that bond stronger.
I mean, that's a great point. Yeah, the fact that, I would say, you date long enough that you feel comfortable. But once you feel comfortable and, you guys decide, hey, we're going to get married. Yeah, that's a great point. When you find someone that says, oh, man, despite who I am and all my flaws, all my mess-ups, all my little annoyances and quirkiness, that they still want me, that is a great feeling. Like that is an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
So question. What is your favorite part about marriage?
My favorite part. All that we talked about. Like I said, my number one thing is having a best friend.
Having a best friend?
Having a best friend.
Okay.
What about you?
For me, you know, as I'm growing into it, I realize sharing our life together. Yeah. Like, we have this saying, like, when we're, you know, walking around the house doing whatever, throughout the day, you know, I love doing life with you, and I don't want to do it with anybody else.
Yeah.
That is a great feeling, like being able to do life with somebody else, sharing life with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about stuff. It's not about just possessions. Because even if, say, you know, you had a lot of stuff or you were very successful, you got everything you ever, you know, worked for and wanted and needed. To me, if you don't have it, have somebody to share it with, like, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it because you enjoy stuff more, I'm realizing, with other people. So it's like, you don't want, so for me, sharing life together is like such a crucial part of marriage and so important. And like, to me, that's one of the best parts. And being able to build a life together.
Right.
Like, you're able to build a family, you're able to, you know, build life together. Like we say, create your culture.
Right.
You're able to build a culture together. You know, this nucleus. And it's like, you're responsible for it. You're responsible for, like, you know, your happiness, the decisions, all these different types of things.
Yeah.
I love that part. Like, just sharing with someone else. So yeah. Let's see. Is there any other parts of marriage that you see benefits? Like, what are the other benefits of marriage that you see?
So, with creating our own culture, it's fun. It's hard, but it's fun. It's like, oh wow, I'm responsible for this new thing. You know, like, all kids want to be grown-ups and
Until
don't grow up too fast. But yeah. But it is cool to develop something that's ours, that's mine. You know, the way I want it.
Yeah, that is
the way
cool.
I see fit. You know, and same for you. You know, we both get to contribute. We both get to brainstorm and figure things out, and it's okay if we don't have everything together. So that's the thing. Like, no pressure of feeling like you have to have it all together. You just have to just learn as you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's beautiful, to be able to do it the way that you want to, how you see fit, what makes you guys happy and satisfied.
Yeah. Okay. So some other things are motivating each other, an accountability partner. It's almost like, how can I don't know. It's almost like okay, partnership. That's the best word, partnership. Like, in a partnership, you have, you know, a partner who you would hope has the same goals as you, like similar mindset, but also you're able to motivate each other. And in those tasks, in those goals, you have an accountability partner, like someone who's going to hold you accountable. Like, hey, you know, we said we were going to do this. Come on, let's do it. We can get it done. So having a built-in partner in that way, I think that's another great example of sharing life together, like building life together.
Right.
Because when you have that accountability, you're motivating each other, and, you know, it's back and forth. It's like we're a team.
Right.
We're a team, and we all have similar goals, and it helps us. To me, it helps us build on relationship, and not have time to look at the negative things. Because when you're both focused on a goal, I mean, you really don't have time for the little petty stuff, because you're both focused on getting this goal accomplished.
I be making time. God has to help me with that.
And so we thought. So yeah.
say? So, all right. Oh yeah. So, I think motivating yourself can get you far, but maybe not as further as having someone else motivate you, and maybe even expose you to things that you didn't know. Because, like I said, I'm not a I wasn't interested in having a business. Wasn't interested in business at all. But then to have someone else have a different perspective to motivate and say, hey, look at this, expose me to a different side. You're like, oh, there's, your perception is limited. Like, everyone's perception is limited. So it's good to have other people so that you can see, okay, this is what the world offers, or this is what's out there. These are the opportunities. Because I wouldn't know just by looking inward or looking at myself and only looking with the eyes that I have. But it's good to have another pair to show you that there's more.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because, as you said, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
So when you have a partner though that has your best interests at heart, a partner that wants to see you succeed, wants to see you grow, and you bounce ideas off each other, and
right.
you have a goal, and they're like, oh, let's enhance that goal. Their perspective is like, man, you can just keep building and building. Right. So I definitely agree with that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Yeah, I think we can both say, I speak for myself, that my life has been better with you in it.
Oh, I can definitely say that.
Go ahead, say it.
My life has been so much better with my wife, Gabby, in it.
Sure. Not kidding.
So, yeah, so you guys, there are benefits to marriage. Marriage is worth it.
Yeah, man.
We like to hear you guys' comments, questions. Make sure you share. Yeah. Click the notification bell for our YouTube people. Follow us on social media and create your culture. Yep. So I'm K.A. Will.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are K&G Culture. We'll catch you next time. Culture family. We love you.